All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Planet Film Network. I am one of your hosts, Sean Monk.
I'm your other host, TJ Cornwell, and today we're going to be doing a quick review of Obi-Wan Kenobi Episode 4 that just aired earlier this morning at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
So, we've been leading up, it's been a very big anticipation, I feel like, week by week for each of these episodes. Episode 3, I think we both liked it. We both liked it a fair amount, I would say.
Yeah.
Probably better than the second one, I think, for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
So what was your reaction, Sean, to episode 4 of this series?
My reaction was, I thought it was a okay episode with some really great story moments and kind of canon moments, and just awesome. Some action was really cool in there. A really great visceral kind of Darth Vader moment towards the end of the episode, which I thought was great. I watched the episode twice. Both times that gets me where I'm like, oh my god. So I thought that was great. But I will say the overall, like we've been saying with a lot of these Disney Plus shows, just for me, the overall kind of thread of the story is, I feel like, kind of, we're falling in that same trap of, yes, there is still 2 episodes left, but that same trap from Hawkeye, Moon Knight, all this stuff that came before Book of Boba Fett. We got 2 episodes left, and it's kind of like, what is this story building to? Is it is this are we watching a show about Obi-Wan and Leia building a connection? Are we watching a show about Obi-Wan and Anakin's ultimate rematch? Lego today posted that the fight from part 3, not episode 3, part 3 of Obi-Wan Kenobi, the show, is going to be a Lego set, and they said, get ready to take home the biggest rematch of the century. And I'm like, if that's the biggest rematch of the century and we're not building to another fight, I don't know what we're doing, because we're also at a point now where I might be wrong with a few shots here or there, but 98% of all trailer material has already been shown. The one thing that, like, 80% was shown in the first 2 episodes, but then a lot of the other stuff was like, all right, well, we still know we have to go to the Fortress Inquisitorius because we saw a bunch of stuff there in the trailer. Now we got all that this episode. So now we have pretty much 2 episodes that we're going completely blind in, which, hey, I'm excited. Tread new ground. But it's causing some other questions that I have, not concerns, because there's still 2 episodes left, so they could still explain things, have things make more sense like that. But it is having me question things that I have a lot of questions about.
Yeah.
So that's for me.
Yeah. I'm probably on the same boat, I'd say. I probably liked it a little bit less than you. To me, this show is evolving, and like you said, we still have 2 episodes left, but this is really evolving into the Obi-Wan Leia show. I don't feel I feel like Vader is just this kind of, he's this overcasting shadow that is always there, but he's not really, like, you get the connection, like we have a back to tank scene between both of them. But other than that, he's not really, he's in the show the last 2 seconds, 2 minutes, and that's about it, in this episode. I thought the thing that this episode really suffered from was the writing. I didn't think the writing was all that good. I thought, like, is that what they refer to the Inquisitor bases as in Rebels?
It's never shown in Rebels. It's just from Fallen Order. But yeah,
really? Okay.
Fortress Inquisitorius.
Is that the first time? That's what they say, though? Oh, okay. Like, I didn't remember that. So at first I was like, is this like the thing that I mean, it's still, to me, it's not a great name. Like, I think they could have come up with something better when they were writing Rebels originally. But at first I was like, that's a bad name. But them like saying like, oh, it's, you know, the fortress, it's impenetrable. Well, apparently it's not that impenetrable because you penetrate it pretty easily.
Yeah.
Um,
Twice.
the
And I will cut the
yes,
show slack. The characters obviously don't know that. None of the
right,
public knows that, but we know that if you've played Fallen
right,
Order. But
yeah. The whole kind of the whole no shield thing. They're like, there's no shield, and it's like, well, nobody's crazy enough to try, and it's like,
yeah,
well, yeah, but there's like no, like, I get the Empire has some like flaws in their architectural style,
yeah,
but like, come on, just like, it's like the same thing I said for Mission Impossible 1. It's like there's no cameras, there's not one camera. Like, I get you have all this other stuff, but just a camera.
yeah,
I also feel that, and maybe this is just me, and I don't know if it's maybe it is just me, but I feel like they are wasting some good actors.
yeah.
For example, Kumail, I don't expect him to come back at any point in the series. O'Shea Jackson Jr., I felt like he was just kind of he was just this kind of guy that played a rebel. He's, you know, we see the basis of a rebel. He has some cool backstory that I hope we get more of. But he just seems like a one-off character. And Benny Safdie too. He was kind of a one-off character too.
Yeah. The one thing I'll say with Benny Safdie is at least his character was short-lived with purpose. Kumail was like, oh, let me just get you to this next segment of the adventure. You know what I mean? Like that. That was kind of more his thing. And it's like, well, we could probably use somebody like you if you want to come along.
Right. Yeah. But you know, Indira Varma from Game of Thrones, I think she's great. She's a great addition.
Yeah, she's killing
Star
it.
Wars universe. I think she's awesome.
Her Funko Pop was just revealed not 20 minutes ago.
Oh yeah. I feel like I've said a lot of negative things. I did very much like the when he takes down the two stormtroopers and he's rescuing Leia. I thought that was a really cool scene. We need more darkness and then a lightsaber showing light in the universe. What else did I like? Like you said, the Vader at the end was cool. I like that. He looked
when he comes stomping in and the camera's shaking. I literally in my I was like, I saw somebody tweeted. They tweeted out the GIF of just him stomping in, and they said, I don't know who shit their pants faster, me, Reva, or the cameraman. And I was like, that is exactly the way. And it's literally like a 4-second shot, but it was just like, oh my god, holy shit.
And the back tank scene, I thought that was great too. I thought, and I think last thing, real quick, I'll say. Sorry, I kind of went on, but
no, you're good.
I thought the Reva and Leia scenes were a bit rough. I thought the dialogue was odd, and that's nothing for the actors. I think it was more the writing and the direction. Like, one thing that really stood out to me was when Leia's like strapped in the machine, and Reva just says, "Say something." It's like it just doesn't sound right. Like it sounds weird.
I'll never tell you. In this dialogue. Like, and again, I agree with you. I don't think it's the performances. I think it's the dialogue. Yeah, it's kind of like it's the Ahsoka's walkabout episode of Kenobi. Of a lot of cool stuff happens, but it's kind of like. And I don't just mean this episode. I mean the series as a whole has done it twice. Of the, we got to go save Leia. We saved Leia. Oh, she got captured again. We got to go save Leia. Oh, now we got the tracking device. It's like you go in this kind of circle, just like that episode of Clone Wars where they get out of the cell and then they end up and they're like, well, that didn't work. Like that's the end of the episode. I feel the same way with this. It's like. And this is, I'll bring up my concern, and then I'll circle back to some positives that I had. So my concern, and I don't even want to say concern, my question. So Leia, and again, I don't think the Inquisitor getting stabbed was, oh my god, so Rebels just doesn't count now? Right. I saw even people that I really respect their review and Star Wars opinions, Christian Harloff. But no, Jake, he did say it, but he was just, I think, more like, what the hell's happening? But like, it doesn't discount Rebels. It doesn't discount. Guess what? If you saw Clone Wars before you watch Phantom Menace, you're going to be like, oh, well, he's not dead. he comes back with robot legs. You know what I mean? Like it's it's the same thing as Darth Maul. We're just seeing it in reverse. We're seeing, a nearly fatal wound, but we know that he lives already. You know what I mean? So that didn't bug me. But what is starting to bug me is a intrinsic core element of Leia and Bail and Breha Organa is, to everyone, including the Empire, they are like Empire #1 family. They are like the Organas are like, they are Imperial, like, to the outside world, I'm saying, to the galaxy. Yeah. They are Imperial through and through. Sure, he's kind of friendly with Mon Mothma. He says some things behind closed doors. But overall, and I'll say even more than Bail, Leia especially, she's a member of the Imperial Junior Senate. She's a member of the Imperial Senate. Keeping her is dangerous. If word to the Senate gets out, it could generate, sympathy for the rebellion. You already know she's in the, you know what I mean? You already know she's in the rebellion. Well, at that point, I will give them credit. At that point, the Battle of Scarif just happened, so they know that she's in the rebellion already. But when Darth Vader goes, "You're part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor," she's been a traitor for 10 years. She's hanging out with a Jedi, with your old master. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand how they undo that. How do you put the cap, back in the bag, or whatever the phrase is? And like I said, it's not a concern yet. If we come to the finale and they just drop her back at Alderaan and they're like, now you don't go running off anymore, right? And then she's like, all right, Ben. Then I'll be like, what the hell? Because she was literally being tortured and interrogated by an Inquisitor for being a known Jedi sympathizer, if you will. How does she just go back to Alderaan and continue her Imperial life in the Imperial Senate and gain a seat of power in the Empire? You know what I mean? Like I said, not a concern yet, just a question. I hope they address that, because to me, sure, Grand Inquisitor getting killed or getting stabbed, whatever. We see him alive later on in the timeline, so the simplest answer is the correct one. He didn't die. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same thing we saw with Orn Free Taa in Bad Batch. Remember when he got shot in the head? People were like, well, he's in Lords of the Sith, and he has all this other stuff to do on Ryloth. And you're like, well, okay, if you're just watching Bad Batch, for the sake of that story, he's dead. But, if you've read further on, he isn't. Same with Grand Inquisitor. If you watch Obi-Wan, you might be like, oh, wow, he's dead. But if you've watched Rebels, then you get the extra treat knowing that he survived. You know what I mean? So that doesn't bother me as much. But having all this messiness with Leia and the Empire does start to make me worry a little bit. And I'm even one that I don't mind her knowing that his name is Obi-Wan, because you could just say, well, why would if she's sending a secret message, why would she go, oh my God, Ben, thanks for saving me that one time. My dad needs you to come to Alderaan. She's sending a proper message saying, General Kenobi, you served my father. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like she's just calling him up on her cell. So like that's fine to me too. But this one, the Imperial, because at this point, I would say Leia Organa is branded an enemy of the Empire.
Yeah.
So how do you undo that? That's I don't know.
Yeah. Something that I was thinking about, this episode, and I feel like I'm waiting for it. And I really don't think it's gonna happen. I talked about it when we were with Brandon a few days ago when we were talking with Brandon.
Yeah.
I really don't think there's gonna be a flashback Clone Wars scene or anything like that. I don't think that's gonna happen. And if that doesn't happen, then I say I don't know why you brought Hayden Christensen back. I don't know what the point is. If he's just gonna be in the suit the whole time, if he's not gonna be able to act. Like, granted, he can body act because, but like, give me some screen time with the two of them, because that's something that people loved about the prequels. They love that relationship between the two of them. 100%. If you're not going to show it to me in some sort of flashback or anything, what's the point of him being in the show?
I would say, and even if you want to bring him back, but to have him be set, and granted, in the show, he's not second build. In the show, it is
Right.
and Hayden Christensen. But with TV, that almost is second build because he does have that and. But it's like every press interview, Hayden Christensen's there. And it's like, Hayden, what was it like working with Deborah? And he's like, and like we've said multiple times, like you guys I'm sure are saying in the comments and stuff, there's 2 more episodes left. There's a lot of story that we can still tell. Even worst case scenario, if we get 2 episodes that are both 25 minutes long, we still have well over, 30 to 45 minutes of this show left. Hopefully more. Hopefully closer to an hour and a half of this show left.
Hopefully.
But a lot of this stuff could change. We could get all right, episode 6. Wow, we're going at it. First swipe, Kenobi slices off the front of his mask, and it's Hayden through the whole episode, just giving it all he's got. I would leap for joy. I would jump for joy and love that. Yep. Absolutely.
Agreed.
But I agree with you. Other than that, sure, I get it. You could bring him back because the fans love him and everything, and Lucasfilm is finally starting to realize that. But to have him like be promoted to that extent with the amount of screen time we've seen so far is very confusing. I would say that very confusing. Yeah.
I feel like I was sold a false bill of goods at this point.
yeah, and like we said, it could turn around for sure. Yeah. If you look at kind of the Rogue One formula, he was in a quick scene towards the beginning, quick scene in the middle, and then in the third act is when he really comes in. So at this point in Kenobi, we're really just about to hit the third act. So we could still see that. But one thing, go ahead. I
just want to ask your opinion on something because I didn't really recognize anybody, but
that's exactly what I was about to go.
Yeah, on the tomb scene.
I thought that was great, and I'm gonna break your heart real quick, because the main guy that Obi-Wan looks at and says, "This isn't a fortress, it's a tomb," as our man Tara Sinube, the old guy with the cane from Clone Wars.
Yeah, when I look up a picture of him, then I'll know who it is.
Yeah, you'll look it up. Yeah, just look up Jedi Tara Sinube.
I can even. Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
R.I.P. He looks kind of like a lizard.
Yeah. Finally got him in live action, and he's dead.
He's not. He's just frozen.
I think the implication was that was a irreversible process. I think if they were in carbonite, then I would be like, okay.
It looked like they were frozen in what the mosquitoes are frozen in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, no, that's what they said. So somebody said the audio description describes them as mummified bodies or petrified bodies in solid amber. That's what the like audio like visually impaired track said.
Yeah.
So I think that's exactly what they were going for, essentially. But yeah, I mean, I think it could leave the door open for maybe like if they can be taken out of it. But I think for the purpose of this story, it was like they're dead. And I saw people saying there was like one in the background of one of the shots. You see somebody that could be Mace Windu, but it just looks like a bald guy. It just looks like a bald Jedi. So it's like I think it could be literally anybody. And also I think, if you're going to put Mace Windu in that scene, that's who Obi-Wan's big reaction is to, not Tara Sinube. As much as Clone Wars sets up that obviously he knows Tara Sinube and all this stuff, but his big emotional moment in that scene would have been, oh my God, it's Master Windu. Oh my, like, holy crap. And you'd have a big moment to, bring at least Sam Jackson's likeness back, type of thing. So I don't think that's Mace Windu, but also I don't think he would be that well preserved. They'd have to like scrape him up off of the ground at Coruscant.
They definitely would have. Yes.
Yeah. But I really liked that scene. I thought it was an interesting moment for fans of Fallen Order, because that's an area that we never saw. So we were like, oh shit, like we didn't know that was down there. We've been down there, but we didn't know that was there. But yeah, I mean, and then I feel like I just want to talk real quick about like some of the visuals in this. I just feel like they're not very strong. Not even that like, oh, the CG's not good or this and that. Because I think that some of the CG in this has been great. I think some of it's looked like movie quality effects in this show. Yeah. And some of it looks like, season 8 of The Flash. Which, is a little concerning. Yeah. But also, you always have to remember they have TV budgets and stuff. And I just feel like they're stretching these shows' budgets so thin that maybe it's like, maybe you just, I don't know, maybe in today's economy or something, maybe you just can't make a show like this much. I don't know, because it's like something that we talked about on PFN Live a few weeks ago. If you look at the Disney Plus era Star Wars stuff, there has yet to be one space battle. You've had Din going up in his ship and shooting at another ship, or, stuff like that. Or the closest thing we got really was probably when Dave Filoni and them flew in and blew up that space station. But other than that, it's like you really don't see much. You really don't see much space battle. In these shows, in Book of Boba Fett and in Obi-Wan, you barely see any space. I was shocked when we opened with them actually flying in the start of this episode. And I don't know, I just feel like the stars are kind of missing in Star Wars. You know what I mean? Like they say, I believe it was O'Shea Jackson Jr., who said, I think Obi-Wan goes, "Oh, is Vader there now?" And he said, "No, he's on his ship, but he's close by." So I thought, I thought we were gonna get the Devastator. I thought we were gonna get his Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
But no, I'm like that stuff feels like so intrinsic to Star Wars. Like, and I love seeing these locations, new and old, like the Fortress and Tatooine and stuff. I love seeing that stuff. But at the same time, it's like, show me some stuff that we haven't seen in a while. Like, show me the Devastator. We haven't seen that since, well, we saw it in Rogue One. But like before Rogue One,
that was a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, and before Rogue One, the only other time we've seen it was in A New Hope. So, but it's like that's what he's driving right now. So let's see it.
Two last things I would just want to bring up. One. And then I want your opinion real quick after.
Yeah.
One, the kind of scene where he's getting his groove back, I guess you'd say. He's blocking all the stormtrooper blasters and everything. I would have liked him, and he still looks a little kind of like he's getting the hang of it, like he hasn't done it in a while. I would have liked at least, maybe one graze him on the arm or something. Nothing like, nothing like a kill shot, but like, and I know the whole thing is like, stormtroopers, really bad aim. Can't hit. They can't hit anything. But give me like some sort of just give me a little something. Yeah. Like I know like he's not hitting all the blocks, but show me that he's not like, he's still not there. He's still not where he was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the other thing, and on top of that, the when the water like flows in from everywhere, and when Tala's like, that's not gonna hold. I was like, why not? It's behind this like big ass door. Like, why? I think it'll be fine. And then when the fifth brother Sung Kang comes in and he's like, she almost destroyed the building. It's like, no, she didn't. It's a big base. It's fine. Like, and the other thing that I just didn't, it felt not, I don't know what they wanted me to feel, was when Wade died. I was kind of like, okay, like I didn't really know him. I don't care about him. Yeah. And I get it's kind of like this, this is the start of the rebellion. The rebellion's a real thing now. Like, people are going to die. But I never felt that. Like, they didn't make me feel any sort of way for him.
I will, and again, these are, I agree with most of your points. But to be the counterpoint, because I have to be.
Okay.
I would say the Wade thing. Like I said, I watched this twice. The Wade thing, the first time it hit me, I was like, okay, bye. Sorry, Wade. But then I was like, because I was viewing it as, oh, they really wanted me to be attached to this guy after whatever. But then I started viewing it as, well, there's a lot of times in Star Wars, like think about Porkins, where it's like we met that guy for 3 seconds, but then he's and then he dies instantly. But also, when that happened, we immediately go, oh no, not Porkins. We don't have to think about it. We don't go, well, no, that's happened before. I should have immediately said, oh man, Wade, even with a minute of screen time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even with a minute. Even you look at something in the Disney era, something more modern, the one, oh, his name is escaping me, but the one alien pilot that you see in Black Squadron throughout The Force Awakens, he's like pose like wingman or whatever. When you see him throughout the movie, like you check in with him a couple different times, and then when he dies at the very end, you're like, oh man, no, that's what. And he had maybe a minute of screen time throughout The Force Awakens, but you still feel that when they're in the Battle of Starkiller Base, because you've had those little moments of connection with him. That you're absolutely right. You didn't feel that immediately with Wade, and then. Yeah, I mean the whole like you could have destroyed the whole base of the building or the whole base of the foundation or whatever, and it's like, homie, your building's like a mile deep and like however wide, first of all, but also I will say, like the fifth brother, is not known for his subtlety and not use of hyperbole, so I think he could just be trying to play at getting Reva kind of snapped out of there. But yeah, I mean, I thought overall it was not a good step forward for the series. I think I don't know, man. I think we're really just at a point where I feel like both. Now I haven't watched Ms. Marvel yet. Everybody says it's really really great.
Good.
And so I'm excited. I'm going to watch it right after this, and then we'll have something up on the channel in the next few days to cover the premiere of that for sure. But I don't know. It's like I just feel like with a lot of these, they just feel uneven and rushed, and I think they feel uneven because they're rushed. And I know that's crazy to say that it feels rushed when this thing has been worked on for like 6 years, but you have to remember, if it's 5 years of rewriting the script.
Yeah,
and then you rush it into production
before they rewrote it.
I want to see every draft. I want to see all the options and everything. And an interesting thing about this episode is that this episode was entirely just written by, forgive me, I forget the other person's name, but by Joby Harold, who is the main current writer on the current show iteration for Disney Plus of the series. But basically what that means is that this episode was almost entirely written for this show. A lot of the other episodes, when you see all those different writing credits, that means that there's stuff from the original movie, the second movie that they were thinking of, the original show, and then this show. This one was just strictly written for this show, and it still felt uneven, which to me is the most worrying sign, is that this episode wasn't multiple scripts being cobbled together. This was two people sitting down to write it together, and it still felt uneven. And the dialogue with, like you said, with Leia and Reva specifically, all those scenes really just kind of dragged. And that's not anything against those actors or anything against those characters. It's just the scenes were not working for me. And it sounds like not working for a lot of fans, not all fans, but not working for a lot of people online. So yeah, overall, I would say I think this is a very uneven, uneasy step that the show has taken, but I really hope that we can bring it home with a slam dunk for the final 2 episodes.
Yeah, I'm same boat. Overall, I thought this is probably my least favorite, I'd say. If I had to rank them, I'd probably go 1, 3, 2, 4 episode ranking. And yeah, uneven, and I am interested to see what they do in the next episode or the last 2, because I have a feeling that this is not where the fun begins. The fun ended at episode 1.
Yeah. And honestly, like I said, I'm just really, really, I'm not expecting or have expectations of specific things, but just give me something meaningful with not just Vader, but with Hayden. Give me a meaningful scene, even just one.
Like,
give me a meaningful
yeah,
scene between Ewan and Hayden.
right.
That's all I want.
We also don't know why Reva hates Obi-Wan so much. I assume we're gonna figure that out. I hope.
Yeah, like we're still waiting. Like obviously she's going to turn
from the beginning of the first. Like
exactly. Like and they're just dragging that out and dragging that out. But but I digress. That'll do it for this discussion of Obi-Wan Kenobi Part 4 on Disney Plus there. So what did you guys think of the episode? Let us know in the comments below. Let us know on Twitter. You can tweet at us at @theofficialpfn. Make sure you're following us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at @theofficialpfn. You can let us know your Kenobi thoughts on any of the episodes or the most recent one. What's working for you? What isn't on any of those platforms? Just go over to the comments on any of those and let us know. But until then, that'll do it for me. I've been one of your hosts, Sean Monk.
I've been your other host, TJ Cornwall. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms, including Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Follow PFN Gaming as well as PFN Live. And check back for our Miss Marvel review, which should be coming out in a few days, maybe a day or two.
Boom. And check out the Black Adam trailer reaction up on the channel right now.
Yep. See you next time.
Boom.